right, we have our match.
Yeah, they have finished up their vetoes.
Just admiring these portraits for a quick second. Trap, obviously, using his own, but Armani using a Panda Marine.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was a Hardest Swarm one. But enough about that. We are here on Lightshade LE. We're in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, spawning all the way in the bottom right-hand corner. We have the Blues player coming down from the land of Korea. He is known to bless the rains. Pause for Light to take over the next move, next line.
Nafrika.
He is Armani, representing Afrika Freaks.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Lightshade LE, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing... Oh my, I was about to say himself. Is it himself?
I shall check that out real quick. I feel like we would have heard a lot more from Twitter, specifically if Trap got picked up.
Unfortunately, he is representing himself. I did just check. He is Trap.
Yeah, it's still pretty unfortunate that Trap is teamless, but I think it does kind of make sense. We are in December. This is... If we were going to hear any big news of, any team that picks up Trap, I feel like it would probably be a little bit later, like maybe next week, before any of the big... it's going to be, before any of the big events go down, right? Trap is basically secured for Katowice, so
yeah,
it's kind of off-season for him.
I would imagine it would be... as Katowice is coming in, we have seen even some players be sponsored for a single event as well. That I remember that did happen for BlizzCon as well.
Yeah, shout out to the former SKT boys who ended up on Team Ballistics.
Mm-hmm.
Which actually isn't still... I don't think Team Ballistics is a permanent thing in any game either. They made jerseys specifically for that one event. Yeah,
they just sponsored. They've sponsored events in the past and players as well. It was really cool for them to step in there when players needed it most. And we'll see if likewise happens to Trap. I hope so. Obviously, like Trap, he's such a good player.
Yeah, again, he's basically secured his spot among the Korean Protoss players, among the Korean players in general. Mm-hmm. He's no longer, it's no longer a question of, is Trap going to break out? Is Trap going to win his big premiere event? Because he already has. Just, waiting for a big tier one.
Exactly. And we'll see what he has in store for us here, because unlike Billowy, he is not going for that Twilight Council opener. He is going for the Stargate.
Yeah, he is. He was the wing commander, but now he's the wing admiral. So he's going to be sticking with his title. Probably going to be Void Ray, though.
Oh my.
Phoenix.
Yo, Armani, we didn't point this out. Armani, he's getting a third hatchery. He stopped droning up quite some time ago. He's hiding his Lings, and he's going to go for a big Ling flood as soon as Ling speed finishes.
Yeah, not quite going for the solar flare this time, but that is only one adept. Okay, there is another adept in backup, and the probe already here in case things get too dicey. Throwing down another pylon. Armani is not going to be able to break this without... It's not going to be able to break this without much difficulty.
Oh, but what's important is that the Adept was taken out. That was a part of the wall, so only this Void Ray and Adept here for the defense. Still nothing but Lings on the way, and it looks like Armani's trying to bust through the Cyber Core.
Yeah, but not quite getting it. There's basically no surface area on that Cyber Core. Trap making it that much more difficult for Armani to really bust through. Now he gets a good surrounded Cyber Core, and only Zealots will be able to be quickly warped in. There is still a Void Ray, and you do have to be careful. The Void Ray doesn't have any bonuses against Zerglings, so it doesn't really have much DPS, but you gotta remember, Zerglings, they don't have much health to begin with.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he did end up busting through and actually getting that Cyber Core in the end, but he wasn't able to slip into the natural trap. He has been able to hold it beautifully here, and he's trying to dive in again.
But I don't think it's going to work out too well for him. Too many Lings there. Sort of banging their heads against the wall, banging their heads against the blades of Zealots. And now here's the counterattack doing quite a bit more for Trap than it did for Armani.
Yeah, exactly. Like after that big like all in essentially, there were no worker kills. Only 2 pros have gone down this game on the side of Trap. Meanwhile, that counterattack already dealing more than that.
Unreal.
We have a second Oracle joining the fray as well. Armani, he's desperately trying to drone up because again, he cut worker production a long time ago. He's still down in workers, and these 2 Oracles aren't helping him.
No, they really aren't. I mean, droning up as much as you can is generally a bit of a go-to in CVP when you see that they're going for oracles, but it's doubly important here for Armani. Does have 3 bases though, which is something. He has quite a bit of lava available to him. Trap showing us what stats failed to show us the last time we casted him. That is triple oracle coming out.
It's been a while. It's been a while since we've seen triple Oracle play, and here we go. They are out here looking to dive into one of these mineral lines. Ignore the Spore.
And in here quite a lot. The damage Oracle is the one getting targeted down, and Trap slipping up a little bit on the micro. Will be losing one of his Oracles. 5 drones have been taken out, which is definitely something.
Yeah, and he's still got energy, so he dives into the main base as well. Another handful of workers going down.
Yeah, not losing another Oracle this time. Can just wait for a little bit of shields to regen. And, of course, he still has another very healthy Oracle in ready to take some shots.
Exactly, and he goes in, he sees the tech as well, he sees the Roach Warren, he sees the lair timing as well, so he's completely aware of what Armani is going for, and I'm sure he feels relatively safe expanding, going for this 3rd.
And with that, he's just, building up, getting ready for his next move, +1, and charges on the way. Good old Charged Archon. That is what, well, at least what I love to see. Such an effective unit composition.
Yeah, definitely. Oh my god, here we go. The first 2 Archons are already morphed out, so they are immediately inside that War Prism, heading across the map to deal even more damage, and Armani, he's just kind of been on the back foot ever since that big Link Flood.
And these Oracles aren't making it easy for him to catch up either. I mean, how many drones have been taken out? 16. Imagine these were Lings, right? Imagine these were roaches. Imagine if Armani didn't have to, waste this larva.
Yeah, exactly. Like that would have changed so much in this game. But again, you can argue that Armani put himself in this position, right? Like he was the one.
100% did.
Yeah, he was the one who put himself, who went for that big, massive Link Flood, who cut workers at 19 drones. But so far, he's done a decent job at attempting to catch up. Oh, the War Prism.
Oh, War Prism does not go down. Trap moves away right in the last second. And his Oracles are still here late.
The Oracles are
3 more drones. 4 more drones.
Yes, and they are still alive. They live long enough to, go back in another day into that natural whenever they so choose. Meanwhile, Armani has been committing to this Roach Ravager composition, which again is a little bit concerning to me because there was a Stargate opener. Like there is still a Void Ray out here on the map as well. I mean, I guess this composition could work, but it definitely feels like a kind of a one and done deal.
Yeah, if this composition had, a time to work, it would have been a while ago. Because now Trap, not only does he have a lot of Charged Archon, I'm just waiting for a couple more Chargelets. He also has some Immortals here thrown into the mix for some anti-armor.
Oh yeah, definitely. To be fair, like he's here with his Roach Ravager and Queens as well, so he does have that defender's advantage.
And a really good concave here for Armani, chasing this Protest army all the way back, but he can't quite push forward any more than that. Doesn't really have a lot of creep, and doesn't really have a good position to get us around on that.
Yeah, definitely. He does back off in the end. So Trap, he didn't commit to that. He saw the amount of Roaches and Ravagers. He's like, nope, I don't want any of that. And meanwhile, here we go. 24 Lings on the way and a Nidus.
And I feel like this is kind of a little bit of a Hail Mary play coming up from Armani, but if it works, it is going to be able to put him ahead for quite some time. Important thing here is to make sure that Trap isn't able to deny those Nidus networks. Armani, I don't think, can just kill Trap outright with this, but he can take out a base, take out a base and go back home to defend.
Yeah, or maybe like snowball from there, you know, get into the main base, you know, take out the production, take out a couple of upgrades as well. Like, it does feel like Armani, he realizes that, after, especially after the beginning, like, he can't macro out of this. Like, he can't go to the late game. Like, he has to end the game as soon as possible. And the Nidus goes up. The Nidus goes down.
But already some stalkers, yeah. Can't explain that. That is heartbreaking.
Oof.
And Armani, he was even trying to multi-prong, you know, he was even trying to distract Trap a little bit, but Trap, he has got eyes everywhere. The back of his head and the front of his head. I think everybody has them at the front of his head, but, you know, Trap has them too.
Yeah, but he doesn't have it, not on his head. This is an area without any vision whatsoever, so the Nidus does complete. All the queens are going to be popping out.
And this does give Armani a bit of a foothold. We'll have to see what he does with this, because it's still totally defendable here for Trap. But we'll see if he's able to defend against that.
That's the question. It looks like Armani's going to try and multi-prong a little bit. That's a lot of Roach Ravager, and he does have the high ground advantage.
Yeah, a couple of good biles, all he really needs. Nice purification over, taking out a handful of roaches over there. But now Trap's starting to move up the ramp right into a concave. How good is the Warp Prism juggling? Good enough is going to be answered to that. A lot of Roach Ravagers starting to get taken out here for Armani. Look at that army supply plummet.
Exactly, Armani. This was all he had.
GG is called. Trap gonna be taking game number 1 of this best of 5 semifinals.
GG, and I do like how Armani eventually transitioned into another form of all-in. I think we were all aware that he had to do something like this in this game, but he just took so many worker losses throughout the game.
Oh yeah, I mean, what was that, like 23 killed drones by the end of there? Which again, if those drones didn't have to be remade, that's what, 23 times 5 is something along those lines. A heck of a lot of income, I can tell you that. And those drones didn't have to be remade, you know, that's 23 larvae that you could have made something else with.
Yeah, definitely.
Really, yeah, it really goes to show you how well or how much PvZ can sort of snowball if, you know, assuming the Protoss player is on top of maintaining their lead. It can snowball quite a bit, but you have to, it's also, what should we call it? Where am I going with this light?
I feel like what you should also say is that Armani is the person who started that ball rolling, you know, like like.
Oh yeah, he decided, you know what, I am gonna make
a snowman?
A snowman out of myself. Trap just helped him along the way down the mountain.
I'm gonna roll down that hill. Oh boy. Yeah, again, Armani, like he did plan and he did go for that big all in, and he goes to show like the difference between Trap and Billowy, right? Trap, he attempted to hold against something similar, but he wasn't there with that probe. He wasn't expecting something like that, and we saw like the link flood just go through. Trap, on the other hand, like he was on point. There weren't even drones with those links, and he even had that worker ready for that building placement to make sure the wall was a wall.
And just like that, Trap is going to be able to take a nice early lead here in the series.
Oh yeah. Yeah. As a reminder, I don't think we mentioned it, but this is a best of 5.
Oh yeah, it is. As we continue on to game number 2 here on Jagannatha LE, we're in the top right-hand corner of the map, starting all the way in the top right-hand corner. We have the Blues player coming out from the land of South Korea. He is from the land down under, that being a freak of freaks, the team he's representing. We have Armani.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Jagannatha LE, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing himself as he is currently teamless. It is Trap.
So, no Stargate question mark?
I would imagine so. Like, there's no reason not to, right? And I feel like, especially on a map like Jagannatha, you can go for that. To be fair, he did force Armani to take the natural at the third base location, so if he wanted to switch things up, he could.
Yeah, like say if you want to go for a gas steal, I'm still pulling out hope, like still holding out hope for this probe, but nah, just gonna be a different kind of annoying here.
Look, if Trap
with
was
this probe.
partying, then maybe.
Yeah, if only.
Ah, that's someone who we're missing today. Partying.
Yeah. Oh, we'll probably see him in the SLNA.
Probably. He is more of a morning boy. So hopefully we can see more of him later on. And oh, Trap, yo, he wants that drone.
He really does. He already weakened it quite a bit, but yeah, he realizes that he's showed up to the wrong. No, yeah, he's back. I thought for sure he was gonna get a gas. Still being annoying with it. Maybe if this was an SCV that wasn't repaired, but drones, they do regenerate health. Doesn't not quite enough to get them back onto full health, but certainly enough to allow them to survive another hit or two.
Yeah, definitely. As Trappy's just being annoying, but again, that time has come and gone as the first couple of lings are here to push this probe away. And we do see, okay, he's not looking to maybe take advantage of the bases here. He is going for what he went for in game 1.
Another Stargate opening. All right, well, I can kind of see where or why he's not taking advantage of that. On Jagannatha, third base is pretty isolated from the main, but it's still in a bit of an awkward position. Being that isolated not only means that it's harder for... It doesn't just mean that it's harder for the third player to get on top of these shades. It also means that it's going to take a while for the shades to get through.
Yeah.
A lot of times, they don't even get into the main base.
Can be quite difficult. They have a lot of land to traverse with those shades, as Trap is opting to go for the Void Ray first. And to be fair, this is exactly what he did in game number 1. We'll see if he goes for a triple Oracle again. That'd be quite exciting.
I'd love to see it.
I don't
Mass
know.
Oracle.
No.
Zest.
Oh god, I forgot that Zest did that. That did happen.
And it was hype.
It was amazing to see. We'll see how many oracles he decides to go for, if he wants to commit to those triple oracle once again, or just get 1 or 2.
Yeah, 2 I think is really the bare minimum here that a Protoss player want to get. Getting only one single oracle generally indicates they want to go a little bit more greedy, want to be taken in a bit of a different direction. Twilight Council is in production, and those are 3 more gates on the way. Trap, I think, is really working on timing.
Yeah, and we'll see what he decides to do. Again, I'm feeling it. I'm not too sure if this is it, but we have seen Trap kind of coin this playstyle, going from a Stargate into Blink Stalkers with that Twilight Council. We'll see if he does so, or if he commits to... Oh wait, no, sorry. He commits to Adepts and then afterwards into Blink Stalkers. I don't know if you saw this, but Pez actually made a video about this a couple of days ago.
Oh. That I did not. I'm gonna have to look into that.
Yeah.
And yeah, Trap is going for some Glaive Adepts, but not going to be a massive commitment.
Oh yeah, again, like, because it was Stargate first, there is no Robo, so the initial wave of Adepts he makes is going to be kind of the only ones he has to work with for quite some time, and he's just going to shade them across the map, and we'll see how much damage they can end up doing.
Really doing a good job of hiding the amount of Adepts he's got as well here. Nice. Oh, the wall is not a wall. One little hole in the wall. Does mean a couple of links come in and will confirm that, yep, those are a hefty number of Adepts that are going to be sent his way.
There we go, and even though the Adepts are on the way, already we have the Forge in production for that +1. And we'll see what he goes for afterwards. He has to be a little bit careful not to lose this Void Ray.
Just keeping it alive.
Okay, just barely alive.
That's more than just alive.
And a nice cheeky... Yeah, a nice cheeky play by Armani, pulling a Ryu, walling off to deny the shade.
Yeah. Taking a page off of El Condor.
Oh, and...
As we have a little bit of a back and forth again. Trap not too committed, just trying to keep... trying to keep Armani preoccupied, and he does! Alright, taking down a couple of drones. Okay, only 1 drone. Mostly lings that are falling over there.
Yeah, a couple more going down, but all the Adepts do get pushed away, and there it is. Blink is on the way for Trap. Something interesting is that he also worked on the Templar Archives, or at least I saw it in production. We may have Cancelled it. Okay, maybe a mistake.
Yeah. That T key, it's pretty close to the F key, assuming that Trap uses standard hotkeys anyway.
Yeah, and we'll see if he throws down a robotics bay behind this as well. So Pez has actually used this build to defeat Gogo Joey and Demi in Demi C Weekly. It was actually incredibly impressive, especially because it was the day before where he struggled in GPO against Gogo Joey, and he relies on like this follow-up Blink Stalker push, eventually going into disruptors. We'll see if Trap does the same here, or if he just is content with the tech that he has available to him.
That we will. Warpers are coming on, so Trap is really looking to, press his advantage. Or stake his claim, rather. Doesn't quite have an advantage to press yet. Now he kind of does, with 8 drones going down.
Oh yeah, that was a lot of damage for not that many adepts, to be honest. Like that was kind of crazy. Meanwhile, the infestation bit was thrown down. It did get scouted, and we do already have the hive on the way.
Okay, but there we go. Hydrogen being thrown down. So it is looking to shape into Hydra Lurker coming out from Armani. Try to immediately get as many of those Lurker upgrades as you can. That's a Robo Bay being thrown down by Trap. Show me them disruptors, is all I gotta say.
Yeah, exactly. Gonna be going for those disruptors, and this can do quite well against a Ling Bane, a Roach Ravager styles of composition. We'll see how much damage Trap can get done here as he is across the map.
Yeah, a little bit deep onto creep, but not too much to really worry about here for Trap. Does have to be careful about the corrosive biles, but apart from that, should be able to micro his way into taking a bit of a lead. Doesn't see a very clear path to victory though, so he's going to be backing away.
Yeah, and what's scary is that like the Hydra Den is done, the Lurker Den is on the way, so eventually Armani will have Lurkers, and that's going to help so much more in the defense.
Colossus is actually what Trap opts for.
Oh my, interesting.
With Thermal End, so it's not a misclick.
Yeah. I mean, oh my god, an Immortal gets picked off though.
And that's absolutely one of the key units that you cannot afford to get taken out before the fight even begins. Trap is getting a pretty good surround. Beautiful force fields.
Yeah, they are being...
Is it gonna be enough? Look at those biles!
The biles are pretty decent. Meanwhile, the blinks are also decent on the side of Trap. He's been able to avoid the majority of them, but there is enough here from Armani to push Trap away.
Man, a couple of Immortals. Even just 1 or 2 would have really changed the tide there for Trap.
Exactly. Like, imagine those Immortals across the map with this army, but they were picked off by the reinforcing Lings.
And now Trap, I mean, he wanted to win with that timing, but now he's going to back away and work on round 2. Wait for his +2 weapons to finish up and go for some harass in the meantime.
Yeah, definitely. And honestly, like, again, I don't know how well these Colossus are going to do against Lurkers, right? Especially with Lurker range and Vipers coming into play. Like, these Colossus they're just such juicy targets for those Yoinks.
That they definitely are. So easy to click, too.
Exactly. The hitbox is like massive, so Abduct is the name, is kind of what Armani's gonna want to go for in the big engagement. We'll see if Trap is able to allow that to happen. Of course, if Trap ends up getting a couple of High Templar out, they can try and feed back those Vipers before they get too close.
Or, hear me out on this light, destroy the economy with Cloaky Boys. Dark Shred is now being finished up for Trap.
Yeah, that could be another way to pull this off, to try and sneak them DTs in, as like there isn't detection all over the place. There's a limited amount of spores, so they could try and deal some damage.
Yeah, limited amount of spores, not too many overseers either. I feel like Armani has kind of caught on to that fact though. So a couple are on the way. Archon's being finished up here for Trap, and he should be starting to really make his way across the map. Yeah,
and what's really good for Trap and what's terrifying for Armani is the Lurkers are not ready for this. Sure, he has the upgrades, but he doesn't have the units. Well, never mind, there are 4 ready.
Yeah, they really need to get a really good position, though, when there are only 4, and that is just about the best position it could be there. Completely away from anything that can fire on them, and having eyes on top of this entire ramp.
Exactly, the positioning there on that high ground is insane, and they're just barely being covered by the Roach Ravager.
Those are those yoinks coming out for the Colossus, and they do get taken out real fast. Trap, his army supply is starting to really fall, And Armani with his +2 range, with his entire army, really putting the hurt on these Archons and these Stalkers.
Exactly. All the high-tech units go down. Armani crushes that army, and finally Trap is going for Disruptors, but it's too late. He committed into those Colossus, I think maybe misreading the situation a little bit, and they were not ideal against this. Oh my god, there's no detection.
There isn't. Oh, these Chargelets do not get killed, but it was close.
Oh god, that it was. And sure, there are a couple of DTs denying a base over on the right hand side. There's a War Prism as well, but for the most part, Armani is on top of everything.
That said, Trap wants Armani to be on top of all of this. He is buying himself time so these 2 more robo facilities get made, so that he has, so that he's able to get more and more Disruptors out to deal with the Lurkers.
Yeah, like he needs to catch up in terms of his robo units, and going for triple robo production is definitely a way to do so. As long as he has the economy to sustain it, then he can, and at the moment Armani is giving him time. Something that Armani is really lacking is that creep spread.
Yeah, now that I think about it, hasn't really been much of a creep clearing effort either from Trap so far, so Armani just you know, focusing his attention elsewhere, but now that it's a little more chill for him, now that Armani has a bit of an advantage, should be seeing some creep tumors come out. Purification Nova does not get to land, immediately sniped, thanks to that Viper yoink.
Exactly, the Abducts are on point, taking out the Immortal, only 1 Disruptor remaining.
And that is nowhere near going to be enough. It gets sniped again.
Oh my god, there we go. A couple more Disruptors are barely coming out. They do land, but it does take 2 Disruptor shots to take out some Lurkers.
Yeah, and that zoning potential doesn't last for too long. The cooldown for Purification Nova is quite a bit longer than, you know, the amount of time it's actually active.
Yeah, exactly. And there's just nothing to stop these Lurkers. Oh, a couple more Disruptors.
And you get some fine hits right on top of the Ravagers. But again, it's as you said, nothing to really deal with the Lurkers, which is why Trap does not bother fighting them. Instead, sends a really juicy run-by to deny as many bases as it can.
Yeah,
and this is a Zerg player on 4 bases against a Protoss player on 4 bases.
Yeah, exactly. Like, honestly, oh my god, 3 Vipers!
The Vipers! One of them, both of them gets taken out. And with that, it just got infinitely harder for Armani to deal with the Disruptors. There are no yoinks available for him.
Yeah, and the Observers the Overseers just got taken out as well. Okay, 1 does finally get morphed in, but Armani, he's falling apart a little bit. Like, he's letting this slip away. He still has a very massive supply lead, but Trap is doing incredibly well, like, slowly trying to claw his way back into this.
And he is just doing fantastic. Again, Armani is the one with the higher supply both in army and in workers. Trap is starting to get really starved out, but one thing he's got going for him, +3 ground weapons. He's got a little bit of a window here to just trade as efficiently as he can against the Zerg army, and then try to reestablish himself from there.
Yeah, definitely. I do think that, like, Trap, he does have a pretty mobile army, and he has to try and find, like, an avenue of attack where these Lurkers aren't set up. Like, pushing down the ramp into this looks kind of suicidal, but to be fair, like, he has so many Disruptor shots.
He's trying to land them. Not all of them are in range, though. Armani does have his
the Changelings!
Great. The Changelings blocked the...
Wow!
Big brain.
Oh my god, is Ragnarok playing right now? Jesus Christ. That was almost every single Disruptor, only 3 remaining.
They were in the same house for a while. I feel like he hit a little bit of his brain rubbed off on Armani. That was... And only now does Trap realize that they were Changelings. That was... Dude.
Oh my god.
Warp gets taken out. This Warpin gets completely shut down. Armani, if he doesn't take this game now, I would be very surprised.
Exactly. We've got a base trade on our hands here. Armani is, he's actually turning back around to help deal with this. And I feel like that's exactly what Trap wants. Trap, he has a recall available to him.
He definitely does. And on Jagannatha, you know, it takes a while for an army on one side of the map to get to the other. Trap can get a lot of damage done here. He has the high ground. He's going to be able to take out a couple of Lurkers over here. Viper's not in position to snipe just yet. There's the recall being used, but not too many units. That should make it out.
Yeah, but
the most efficient recall.
Exactly, but you know what? He took out this base to the top left. He takes out the base to the bottom right. Armani down to 3 hatcheries.
he's essentially all in. Well, maybe not, because he's still got a massive bank available to him. But yeah, Armani definitely wants to pay Trap back, and that's exactly where Trap wants to fight. He wants to be on the defensive to utilize things like shield batteries and cannons.
Yeah, again, like Trap, he's been down for so long, but he's been doing such a good job at just keeping Armani busy on the other side of the map. But is this too much now? Now that Recall is off cooldown, now that Trap is forced to stay at home?
Yeah, I feel like Armani has got himself enough momentum to push this all the way. There are only cannons there in that fourth base location for Trap. In fact, Armani just ignores it entirely. He's getting all of these disruptors again!
Oh my god, and that was the lifeline for Trap right there. That was the way that Trap was going to get back into this game.
GG is called. Armani going to be tying up the series sideways 1-1. And what did we tell you, chat? These two players, Trap has a little bit of a lead, but they do go back and forth so often.
GG, we're tied up. What a play with those changelings. That was amazing to see. And as you said, like, yo, even though Trap is the more accomplished player out of the two, like Armani, mate, he is no slouch. He can definitely take it to some of the best.
That PvZ, man, especially when he gets a little bit of brain from Ragnarok.
Exactly.
Can you imagine an Archon of them?
Oh my god, that sounds terrifying, but oh god, Armani played that out so well. Again, Trap, unfortunately, he misread the situation a little bit. If you recall, he scouted the infestation pit. He didn't see the lurker den. So I guess maybe he thought his opponent was just going to go straight into Vipers, not necessarily taking into lurkers. Like, the initial tech into Colossus just didn't really work out for Trap at all.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't have too many robos to begin with, but the fact that he decided to go for Colossus was doubly questionable. And yeah, I do just think that he didn't really know that Armani wanted to go for lurkers there.
Yeah.
But speaking of lurkers, we are now on to Submarine LE, from a long, massive map to the shortest map of the current map pool. Here in the top left-hand corner map, starting all the way in the top left-hand corner, the Blues player coming out from South Korea. He is going to be representing a freak of freaks, blessing them reigns. We have Armani.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Submarine LE, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing himself. It is Trap. Mate.
So, yeah.
I was just gonna say, mate, this is why I love ESL Open Cup Asia, because, mate, the Koreans,
we actually get Submarine. Yeah, everybody Funara, Latam, Funara C/OC in the chat.
Exactly.
They do not want to play on Submarine.
They do not. They are afraid. But here in South Korea, we embrace the Submarine.
We submerge.
Ducks?
Yeah. Which you too can have access to with a subscription to the CranKy Ducklings Twitch channel.
Yeah, if you want to help support the CranKy Ducklings, we do supply replay packs. We also have our own sub channel in our Discord if you want to be a part of our community. But yeah, we're slowly getting into the swing of things, and yeah, we'll see what these players have in store for us. Armani, we have already seen in this series, he's been incredibly aggressive. In game number 1, he could try and turn that on here on Submarine.
But might be a little bit too obvious here, so Armani, and for the time being anyway, just, building up his economy. We'll see what he does after his third base goes down, or if he even decides to go for a third base.
Yeah, that is the question. He should be going for his third base relatively soon. There it is. The drone is going to that location. And once again, Trap going for the Stargate.
Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't break it. So not going to be seeing any, any big Twilight Council or Glaive to Depth openings. Could always be another one of these Stargate into Glaives into Blink, but I'm not sure how effective that's going to be on Submarine.
What I will say is that, unfortunately, we haven't been able to cast Trap often these past couple of weeks, we've been seeing a lot from Stats and a lot from Zest. And something that they have been really embracing and really fond of is going like Stargate into Void Ray into double Stargate and going into that Skytoss composition. We saw that so often against Rogue, for example. I'm sure you remember.
Haha. The difference between Stats and Zest, yeah, it comes out to romanticide.
Yeah, exactly. But like so far, at least in this matchup, we haven't seen Trap go for that kind of style, that Protoss style.
Which I kind of appreciate here coming out from Trap. He's sort of keeping his options open. Doesn't, you know, commit too far into one tech tree or another. Especially, I think, nowadays, you know, the double... Especially now that you have options like the German Taxi or what have you, that's designed specifically to counter double Void Ray. It's, yeah, not too surprising that Trap is opting instead for just a single Void Ray from a single Stargate.
Yeah, it goes to show that some of the differences between the top Protoss players in South Korea, between Trap and Zest and Stats, where they are, you know, again, more likely to go for something like that. Meanwhile, Trap, he's, you know, sticking to his Twilight Council play instead.
With 4 gateways being thrown down.
Ooh.
So I think we're going to be seeing a little bit of a repeat. No, that's 3 gateways. Well, 5 total.
Math.
Mahaha.
Yes, we do currently have them 5 gates. We have Glaive on the way as well. So this is very reminiscent to game number 2 on Jagannatha, where Trap, he doesn't necessarily commit too hard to these adepts and eventually does transition out of this into a Forge. We'll see if he does the same or if he commits a little bit harder.
Yeah, I will say that on a map like Submarine, like, I'm just trying to, you know, visualize how the adepts are going to do here. Probably, I want to say better, since you know, the bases are a little bit more compact, a little bit closer together, but we'll see. Again, the point of these adepts isn't to, you know, get game-ending damage here, to, you know, kill a bunch of drones. It's more just keep the Zerg player busy while he gets his transition on the way.
Oh yeah, definitely. And he's already, you know, dealing some economic damage, you know, a lot of lost mining time here with these only 2 adepts out on the map. Meanwhile, we've got plenty more on the way. Glaives is about to finish up as well, and we'll see what Trap can get done here. Oh my.
Oh, Armani is moving across the map with his queens. He's moving back to creep once he sees those adepts. That was a real nope, I'm out moment.
Exactly, Armani. He was getting ready for a big push, but I mean, he does encounter something he was not expecting. He runs into all these adepts.
And he manages to surround most of these adepts, but I don't think there's enough links here, or even roaches here, to really deal with them. Trap, I mean, he wasn't looking to get game-ending damage, but he might get it.
Oh yeah, exactly. Like, we have more adepts here in the main base, a couple more shading into the third base as well. Meanwhile, the queens are still rallied across the map.
Well, they do need a bit of a head start here. Since Armani is deciding to go for this straight up push with roaches and queens. 10 drones already going down, and that is going to secure Armani saying, you know what? I don't want to play this out of macro game anymore.
Yeah, and we'll see if Trap was able to determine that this attack was coming. Like, he saw a decent amount of queens. They're all coming across the map. We have a stasis ward, we have a couple of shield batteries, but like, there are barely any units.
But you know what? Overcharge. Am I right?
Yeah, Overcharge can do well. A couple of sentries are being morphed in as well for those force fields.
It's quite a lot. Okay, a decent number of Zerglings being taken out of commission, but not the majority by any means. They do like to focus on taking out that shield battery. It's making it that much less effective here. Trap. Links are to come in. Can't quite get the big massive surrounds that they want to, but they don't really need it at this point.
Yeah,
there's not enough adepts here to deal with them.
Exactly. There's just so much Zerg here. Everything at the third base is going to be going down. The Void Rays can't really help out because of these queens, and that's why this kind of push is so scary on Submarine. The map, it's so small. The queens don't have that much area to really, you know, traverse, and now they're here. They're at the natural. And
they are banging down this wall. Queen's kind of body blocking the Ravagers a little bit, which is a little bit annoying. There's still an overcharge available, and Trap decides to use it. The adepts are very clumped up. That is not the only pylon that's going to be keeping that battery alive, I don't think.
It isn't,
But even still, it's what's powering these gateways.
Exactly, the gateways go down, the production cut in half for Trap, and again, slowly but surely, Armani is busting through this front door, but we do have more shield batteries on the way, we have an Immortal on the way as well. Trap though, he is a little bit supply blocked.
Yeah, although I will say that Armani has used up a lot of his corrosive vials, he does have a lot of Ravagers left. I feel like there is a moment for Trap to just, really focus hard on the defense and be able to start turning this around. Armani with 3 bases, though, always has the option to say, you know what, I'm not all in anymore. I've dealt enough damage, I'm going to macro out behind us. But he's just looking to end the game.
He is. He's just making nothing but units of Lings. They eventually get into that mineral line. All the shield batteries are going down. Only 2 remaining, and there are 2 Immortals on the way, but it may just be too late. We'll see. It gets depowered.
Yeah, one of them gets depowered. The other one should be able to get out. Armani not targeting down that pylon. One Immortal is able to make it out of here.
Ooh, and with
is
this,
it going to be enough for now? Maybe, but...
I mean, bear in mind, there are 2 Immortals, there are a couple of units to buffer as well. It looks like Trap is trying to push through, but the problem is, once this Adept and Sentry go down like Lings, they can just flood on in.
And they are looking to do so. Armani now trying to reinforce with Lings, sending a lot of roaches across the map. That is exactly what the Immortals want to deal with. Trap is about to have 4 Immortals out, and that might just be too much.
Oh, yeah, but the problem is those Lings, right? Like, if they get that surface area on the Immortals, it's going to be so much more difficult for Trap to really deal with. Oh god, he ends up wasting his force field. The sentries are going down.
That they do. There's not enough energy left here for Trap for another force field, and there are plenty of corrosive vials, even if there were. A lot of these Immortals starting to get very badly bruised. No Warpism here yet to really micro.
Yeah, and it's never gonna happen. The Robos both are depowered. Everything's going down. The Lings are finally here to get on top of the Immortals.
Just like so, and this is starting to get a little bit too much. Trap is starting to get swept under the wave of Zerg.
Exactly, and maybe if some of these Robos were in the main base, continuing to produce throughout this entire time, not under threat, maybe something could have happened, but GG gets called.
Armani takes it to a match point on Submarine.
That he does, mate. He's on match point. He's up 2-1. He needs 1 more win to win the entire series and advance to the finals.
Where he will be facing... Let me actually just refresh this real quick. Not actually sure if that special Zest series is finished up yet.
It may be, because we do have every single caster joining us.
Oh. I think it has. Yeah, it has. So Zest gonna be advancing to the finals then? Unless there's been a mistake here in the scoring. It's been known to happen in the past.
Yeah, as that was covered over on the Russian stream, and I believe it was covered in Korean as well.
Yeah, by Into the Inu.
But we will get confirmation of that series afterwards. Like, of course, the admin still has to update it on the ESL bracket as well. It looks like it has been updated on Wikipedia.
There we go. And with that, we're going to be going into what could potentially be our last semifinal map of the evening. If you're looking to prevent a mirror matchup, then you want to be cheering for this guy over here in the top right-hand corner of the map, spawning all the way in the top right-hand corner of Oxide LE, the Blue Zerg. Coming down from the land of South Korea, he is the most fashionable player in all of StarCraft 2. He's been known to bless the rain, sunlight. Are you free?
Down in Africa.
Representing the Africa Freaks, we have Armani.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Oxide LE, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing himself. He is teamless. He is down 1-2 in this best of 5 semifinals. He needs 1 more win to take it to the ace match, or this is his final game of the tournament. It is Trap.
And you know what? I believe in Trap.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like, I'm sure.
I mean, I believe in Trap. The statistics believe in Trap, and at this point, I think even Stats believes in Trap pretty hard.
I'm sure Armani believes in Trap as well. Trap, of course, I'm sure he is unfazed by the situation he is in. He's been here many times before, especially in an offline setting. So he definitely has it in him to pull it back here and at least take it to the ace match. But Armani, he is so close to taking him down.
But we'll see. Armani not quite making any big ballsy plays, not deciding, you know what, I am up in the series, I'm just going to try to go for a quick win. So instead, going to be continuing to play out a bit of a macro game where really anything can happen between Armani and Trap. Somebody, some of the best macro players of Korea.
Definitely. I also like how, once again, it's like almost every game, Trap, he really wants that drone.
Yeah. He's learned the ways of the Probius.
Exactly. He's been playing some Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah.
Inspired.
If only probes can throw down black holes.
Is that what Probius does?
And also shoot them. Well, I don't remember what they're called, but he creates like fields where there are like he throws on like slow fields, and he can also shoot the slow fields to make them blow up.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. I've never seen Probius in action. Yeah.
He's great.
That was after my time.
You're missing out. Well, maybe not that much, but man, Probius is great.
Oh god. Bringing cannon rushes to games more than just StarCraft.
To the Nexus.
Exactly. And Trap, once again, going for the Stargate opener. We'll see if he just continues to go for the same thing. Like, are we gonna see this into a Twilight Council, into Glaives once again? I don't know how I feel about it if Trap does so, because again, he's been going for the same opener almost every single game. Especially when, as a Protoss player, you have so much versatility in how you can open up.
Exactly, and that's what leads me to believe that Trap will be going for something different here. Just because of the fact that he has so many options available to him, especially since he doesn't commit to a double Stargate, as you said, like we've seen from other Protoss players in the past. But if we look at the game on Jagannatha and we look at the game on Submarine, both times Trap has actually gotten more damage as as he warms up a little bit more, right? It worked out a lot better for him in Submarine. It's just that, that game was on Submarine, where Armani was already planning to go for a big all-in with his queens.
Yeah.
That didn't quite matter, so... I feel like on Oxide, especially, where, you have quite a long rush distance, it can work out pretty well for him. For Trap, I mean.
Definitely. And I was about to get into this. As these tool depths are dealing some decent damage, 3 drones go down, I would have loved the idea if Trap in game number 3, in potentially the final game of the series, he's up against the ropes. Now is when he goes full zest and full stats, and there it is, we have the double Stargate.
And a Void Ray on the way as well. Oh, will Trap commit to the late game?
We'll see how
it's
Armani...
very possible.
Yeah, and we'll see how Armani can respond, right? Again, there's a very you have to respond in the correct way as the Zerg player, and we haven't seen Armani's response to this style of play.
Yeah, funnily enough, now that I think about it, I don't think we really see much of Armani's late game. I think maybe the closest I can think of is his EPT, where he goes for Lurkers, Lurker, Lingbane, Hydra, but other than that... Yeah, not so sure.
We'll see. I mean, okay, so Armani, he did spot 2 Void Rays. And that could already be a tell, because this is something that Trap has not done in this series. He's never gone for 2 Void Rays off of 1 Stargate. So Armani, he already has a bit of a tell. He does still need to confirm that this is happening. And when he does, he needs to focus on that anti-air. He needs to either commit to Queens or throw down that Hydrogen.
Which I imagine we'll be seeing, but again, I think it's as you said, Armani... Since he hasn't confirmed it, he still has a little... There's the link coming in! Will confirm that Trap is going very Void Ray heavy, actually. He's about to get 6 up.
Oh, yeah, and this is typically what we see. So we do see 6 Void Rays out, or gonna be soon out on the map. And with these 6 Void Rays, we've seen many times, go into the main base, snipe some tech structures, or just, sit on top of the 4th and just continue to deny it.
Or in this case for Trap, just shave off the roach count. Make Armani, use up even more larva.
Yeah, exactly. You know, go toe to toe with these queens. Armani, he's aware he is going for his Hydralisk. He's going for his fourth base as well. His fourth base is very vulnerable because, again, Trap, the Void Rays are headed towards it.
Yeah, it's a very vulnerable location, but it's also a very hidden location. So Trap, he is very being vigilant here, making sure that, you know, Trap doesn't try to hide in plain sight.
Yeah, nicely done. Able to deny the fourth, delaying the fourth for as long as possible. Again, we're on equal basis at the moment between these two players. Armani forced to expand over to the right-hand side.
Definitely a lot more of a defensible location, using up quite a number of transfuses here to keep that queen alive. That's the last of the high energy queens. Bought him enough time to get some Hydras out, but not able to kill a single one of these Void Rays. Hydras are coming out though, so something.
Yeah. So now Armani, he should be able to secure his fourth base now that he has a little bit more anti-air than just the queens. You know, he's kind of throwing away his roaches. He definitely doesn't need them at the moment. You know, they're out here doing what they can.
Especially considering that Trap is already working on his transition. Chargelet Archon with Storm is coming on the way. Exactly what you want when you're up against a Ling Hydra army. Armani's still not going for any Baneling Nests as of yet.
Yeah, which is a little bit odd. Like, that's something that you need. You can either go Hydra Ling Bane, or you can go Roach Hydra, which it seems like that's what he's opting to go for. It is a little bit, it isn't anywhere near as maneuverable, as like flexible, but it can work. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see how well he's able to pull this off. There's not too much of a buffer here for Trap when it comes to these Hydras, but this is just phase one, really, for the Protoss army. He's gonna be building up quite a bit more. He's got a lot of gateways on his hands. He's got 8 of them.
Yeah, definitely. And he's even getting a bunch of stack defense on all his fringe bases as well. So even if Armani goes for a big attack, and it looks like that's what he wants to do. So we've seen this a couple of times. Armani wants to end the game early. He does not want to go into that late game, into that Sky Toss.
Alrighty then. Yeah, just not want to, I guess just not feeling his, not liking his chances against a Stargate player when it comes to that Golden Armada, that Sky Toss late game.
Yeah.
Just trying to end this game, whether it's win or lose.
Exactly, and with that, he's got his roaches, he's got his queens. We'll see how well he's going to be able to split against these storms.
Oh, he's trying to go for a flank, but the queens are too slow, Light.
Oh my god, they're so slow at the moment. Only half the army fighting for Armani, but he does have a pretty nice spread.
Good feedback here for Trap. He's going to be taking out quite a number of these transfuses. And I feel like Armani's army is just too slow right now. A lot of good storms, but the energy is starting to get used up. Good use of the battery overcharge.
Yeah, definitely, and it looks like there may just be enough here from Armani. He's close to maxing out. We have 16 Hydras coming across the map to reinforce this.
But will they be here in time is a massive question. Trap is starting to go into a very wide open area, though.
Oh yeah, that
Storm
is
being used.
I just love how patient Trap is, because he goes into that wide area and then he backs off, right? Like he knows that he wants to fight with his shield batteries, with his stack defense.
He absolutely does, buying himself enough time for these High Templar to regen their energy. Starting to get a couple of Archons here. Do provide some splash damage, but more importantly, they are beefy units.
Yeah, definitely, and we're getting to the point where we're running out of storms. I believe there's only one storm remaining, but there's a massive flank from Chargelots.
And just like that, Armani is the one that's starting to get sandwiched, but there are still a lot of Hydras and a lot of Queens over here. Mostly Archons and Void Rays over here. Does Armani have enough?
It looks like maybe the Zealots are getting on top of the majority of the Hydras, and the problem is that if these Hydras run out and these Queens, the Void Rays are going to reign supreme.
And where's the anti-air right now? No, in position is the answer to that. GG's call. Trap going to be tying up the series sideways 2-2. We're getting that ace match.
GG, Trap so patient with his army. He just had to dance with the army of Armani as long as he could to get out those immortals. Fleet Beacon was on the way as well. More upgrades were on the way. Like, the longer the game went on, the better it was for Trap. As we were saying, Armani, he was completely all in. He had to end the game then and there.
Yeah, interesting that Armani just does not want to play the late game. I mean, can't really blame him there. I know a lot of Zerg players are struggling quite a bit against Sky Toss, especially the late game Sky Toss, but Armani basically just completely gave up on that.
Yeah, there are a lot of, as you said, there are a lot of Zerg players who, when they see double Stargate play, they just go for a big all-in because that's easier to execute than trying to contend with the late game sky toss. Like it is a completely different beast to go up against. It becomes a very long game. It can be very difficult, and a lot of Zergs just don't like it. They're like, like, stay away from that. I'm just gonna go for an all-in. And there are different kinds, right? You can go for Queen Marches like this. You can go for timings with Infestors and Microbial Shroud as well. The problem is, like, again, you're all in. Like, you have to end it.
Well, and Armani, he did end it.
I guess he did.
Favor.
I guess he did.
But now we will get the actual end to it here on Romanticide. LE. LE, of course, standing for Lovers. Explanation. Lovers explanation. That's what you're never getting out of me. You're gonna have to hit up Seal for that. Here in the bottom right hand corner, I'm out starting all the way in the bottom right hand corner. The Blue Zerg player coming down from South Korea. He is gonna be representing Afrika Freaks. Are you free?
Down in Afrika.
We have Armani.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Romanticide LE, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Red Protoss. Representing himself, he has brought himself back. We are tied up 2-2 in this best of 5 semifinals. It is Trap.
You gotta love the little observer box here. Observer trap.
Yep. Just confirming that Zest did 3-1 special in the lower semis. We have to make sure that we report that to the admin as well, so that can be updated.
Yeah. Probably don't want Emu to report it if what Maddox is saying is true.
Oh, God.
But yeah, it was a 3-1. Zest is currently in the grand finals here, waiting for the winner of this series. And if you don't want a PvP, you're going to be wanting to root for Armani. But if you want a PvP, which we haven't cast it yet today, surprisingly, considering what we normally cast here.
Yeah. It was there. Like, I could see it. I could see the line of PvPs all the way to the semis. But we did, of course, have to start the night with Ryung versus Miyamaika. And I mean, I'm not disappointed. I'm happy with that.
Nor am I. That was, man, that was an explosive start.
Oh, yeah.
Trap once again, this time actually playing nice, not attacking the drone.
Yeah. This time he's a little bit more passive, and I'm a little bit worried for Armani. Because Romanticide, we've seen some Protosses rise, we've seen some Protosses fall on this map. Not
naming any names here.
Stats and Zest. Respectively, check out the VODs if you want to tune into how that happened. But if Trap goes for the double Stargate play again, it's a lot more difficult to go for that big all-in, like, especially because these 3 bases for Trap, like, they're all on the high ground. You can
super defensible.
Exactly. You can still, like, march queens across the map, but it's so difficult to push up. Like, there's so, as you said, it's so defensible. You have plenty of stack defense up here. I imagine it'll be easier for Trap to hold.
Yeah, that's exactly what he wants to be able to do. You know, 3 bases, definitely the bare minimum to get into the Skytoss army. That being said, we did see, specifically from Rogue when it came to Romanticide, his strategy his approach was always, okay, I'm just gonna be as greedy as possible while my Protoss opponent is, working on getting their army up. Now that I'm comfortable with my 5 bases or what have you, now that I'm maxed out, I'm gonna send massive wave after wave after wave into the 4th base locations, make sure that they're still on 3 bases. And it works pretty well sometimes, but other times, the Protoss player was had enough time to build up an army, go for a counterattack.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, as we were talking about earlier, there are like Zerg players who embrace like that late game sky toss and like go as greedy as they can and max out, or there are the ones who go for a big all in, right? And then they kind of put all their eggs in one basket. And based off of that previous game, I feel like Armani is the kind of player who wants to go for an all in. Of course, Rogue, he's the other end of things, and there we go, mate, double Stargate.
Oh boy. And things are not shaping up to, or at least not looking too good here for Armani. Again, isn't quite aware of this, starting to go with the Roach Warren. No scouting information on that side of the map as of yet.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he does have pneumatized carapace on the way, which is great, so he can utilize that to send his Overlord in and get that scout, but he desperately needs to know what Trap is up to so that he can prepare accordingly.
That's why he's trying to sneak in with his legs. We can actually get through. Adept is making a very tight seal over there with 2 more here just to seal the deal.
Yeah, he seals the deal. Armani still does not know what is on the way. I don't believe 2 Void Rays have been revealed quite yet, but once they do, then Armani, like, he has a decent idea. He's like, oh, okay, like, you're going double Stargate again, and then we'll see what his response is going to be. Is he gonna go for another big all-in?
I have to imagine that whatever response
looks like the answer is yes.
Crisper. All right, well, we're seeing the German taxi come in.
Yep. Oh boy. So this is what I was curious about, because again, the pneumatized carapace was relatively late. I'm like, it's kind of late for a scout. This is why he's going for it. He's gonna go for some queen drops.
Right on top of the Void Race.
Oh boy, but it's gonna be disastrous if the Void Rays end up running into the Overlords. Like, he has to be so careful.
Funnily enough, killing that creep tumor saved Armani. Oh, there's still Adepts over there that could give him the vision of the Drop Lords. Oh. Armani he cannot even move out of his front door right now.
Exactly. He has to deal with the Adepts first. Like, he has to keep this hidden, because if he doesn't, then the...
But the Queens drop right on top of the Void Rays. Will be able to bruise them pretty badly, keeps all of them alive, but at the cost of 1 to Drop the Lords. It's going to be a weaker push coming out from Armani, just because he isn't able to have as many Queens there in time. He, meanwhile, did manage to sneak in quite a number of Lings.
Oh, there are Lings in the main base. The Lings are slipping into natural as well.
The wall's still out of wall light.
Oh my god.
A lot of multi-prong going on here from Armani. Trap. He's going to be getting a hit from every single angle right now. It is a wave of 1,000 fists.
Exactly. We got Lings in the main base. Lings going to be in the natural. There is still no wall. The Roaches are slowly waddling in. The Queens are here as well.
And they're just taking their time. They are waiting for the creep to drop in so they can spread a tumor. All of these Void Rays, though, they're not being threatened right now.
And they cleaned everything up. Like there are a couple more Lings sneaking into the main base, which is great. 9 probes went down, which is great as well. But yeah, I think Armani realizes that I cannot end the game. Like, my push was very staggered. The Queens really didn't come into play at all, and now they're going to be hunted down.
Yeah, that's a lot of Void Rays, and that's a lot of Queens that are really far off creep. Meanwhile, though, another run by coming in here. Armani could lose all of his Queens, but as long as he's able to remake them and gets a bunch of Hydras out, should be doing fine for the counterattack. Did take out a lot of probes, which is a start for him.
Yeah, definitely. Like, Armani is ahead when it comes to the worker count, but again, he lost all his Queens. Like, he has enough energy for maybe 1 transfuse, maybe 2. Okay, the Hydras pop out just in time.
And that deters the Void Ray for the time being. When these Overlords get taken out, and that's pretty important here for Armani, because he is switching from the taxi to the subway.
Exactly. There we go. Armani is not done with his all-in. He's still here on 3 bases. We have the Nidus on the way as a follow-up, and he's still got plenty of Queens, plenty of Hydras, plenty of anti-air.
I tell you what, Light. Does he still have creep tumors on the other side of the map? I see some,
They got cleaned up.
Oh. Well, he still has vision from these Zerglings.
He does, and the Nidus is on the way. He's, okay, so Trap does spot all the Hydras moving out throughout the center of the map, but he's unaware of the Nidus.
That he is not going to be such an important reinforcement point here for Armani. Starting to throw down some tumors just to give him a little bit of a boost. He's got so much anti-air over here. But the important part is, Trap He's bought enough time to warp himself in. A couple of High Templar. Storm is about to be finishing up in just a couple of seconds. There is so much potential here for Trap to hold.
Yeah, exactly. The Storm finished up just in time, but a couple of High Templar are going down to the Hydras.
But one good Storm is not quite all he needs, but another good Storm is what's really going to secure him, but he cannot get that. He cannot get the Storm that he wants.
Exactly. The Void Rays are slowly going down. Overcharge is used. The Storm does land.
And I do believe that that's a final Storm here for Trap. A single Archon over here. He's going to be tanking most of the damage. One of these Zealots is really starting to lay the hurt on these Queens. We're starting to go down. That's the end of that battery overcharge.
Oh, the Charge Zealots.
Zealots to flank, though.
Exactly, the Charge Zealots are the saving grace. Meanwhile, at the same time, a Nidus did pop up in the main base. The Hydras, they do transfer over.
And they haven't quite gotten a lot of tech damage done. It's really scary now for Armani is that if this Nidus gets taken out just like so, these Hydras are trapped. They need to do as much damage as they can. And I'm not convinced it's enough. GG is called. Trap gonna be taking that series 3-2. Such a close best of 5. And in the end, Light, say it with me, we can't escape our past. We are CranKy Ducklings. We must cast PvP.
I'm waiting for you to hit the button. I'm waiting for you to hit the button.
I thought this was best of 7. Subconsciously, I thought it was the best of 7 because I was saying all of it. I was like, Trap taking it, going up against Zest. Subconsciously, it was.
Exactly. GG, well played, Trap. He holds against the Taxi. He holds against the Subway. The timing on that Storm was so clutch. If it was only a couple of seconds too late, then the Hydras that would have gotten on top of those High Templar, taking them out before any Storm was used. Just barely everything was there lining up for Trap, and he does take the series.
Yeah, definitely a much closer game for Armani compared to Oxide. He was getting a lot more damage done there. And honestly, I do think that at certain points, it really did come down to, one good Storm. If Trap whiffed one Storm or something like that, if Armani was able to, take out the Void Rays a little quicker, it would have gone in a completely different direction. But Trap, against the Taxi, against the Subway, he proved that he was private car services. I don't want to say Uber specifically, but
he is the anti-public transport.
He is what's it called? Services like Uber and stuff like that. Transportation something.
He is the bicycle. He's the
He's a bicycle rental.
He is
that you throw in the drain here in Singapore when you're done with it.
Jesus.
A lot of people do that. He's a motorized scooter.
There you go. You know what he is? He is energy efficient. He is, limiting his carbon footprint right here before our eyes. And now
he jogs.
He jogs, mate. He goes out there and he uses his legs like a madman. And he ran all his way to the finals. It's gonna be a PvP. It's gonna be Trap versus Zest.
Oh Lord.